So the summer sun continues to heat up our towns, that we spoke of last week, with its solar power. We are heating up our lives with our soul power, or soul power. So that's what the whole month of August will be about. And last week I gave Ernest Holmes' definition of what power meant. This is in the glossary of his Science of Mind book. He says the energy by which everything lives. That's what power is. Every one of us is tapped in, is filled with this energy that is within everything and by which everything lives. Every one of us, at the depths of our souls, the very core of our being, the essence of our eternal self, the power by which everything lives exists. That's where it resides. Emma Curtis Hopkins, who we love, we're doing Roots class now. Love her. We're doing a workshop, by the way, probably in the fall, probably the end of October. We have a woman coming in doing a 3-day Emma Curtis Hopkins workshop, so just plant that in your mind. But Emma Curtis Hopkins wrote, "We have unlimited power. If we do not use that power, it does not alter the fact that it is our inheritance." So it's present within. All the qualities of the divine are present within us. Whether we use them or not, or recognize them or not, is our choice. It's our choice. So today we're going to look at the concept of the power in asking. Asking. So this is from Science of Mind, big, bold letters. Ernest Holmes wrote, "The things that we need, we are to ask for, and we are to believe that we have received them." This idea was not new to Holmes, and it wasn't new to the master teacher Jesus. But he articulated it pretty well in Matthew, verse 7, chapter 7, when he said, "Ask," and you've heard this before, but listen to this, "Ask, and it shall be given unto you. Seek, and you shall find. Knock, and it shall be opened unto you. For whoever asks receives, and he who seeks finds, and to him who knocks the door is open." And so for all of us to know that, the clarity, that's what we're going to be speaking about today. What is the universal law responding to? How clear are we, not just in our thoughts, but in our vibrations? Okay, so we're going to get into that. But also Jesus went on to make a pretty powerful statement and an analogy. When he promised this, he said, if there be a man among you who, when your son asks him for bread, will hand him a stone, or if he should ask him for fish, will hand him a snake. If therefore you who err know how to give good gifts to your son, how much more will your Father in heaven give good things to those who ask him? So, commenting on those words from Jesus, we have Ernest Holmes' kind of interpretation of this. And he says we come to a definite place in our teachings where we shall receive that for which we ask. It shall be open to us, he writes. When we knock, the door shall be open, and we shall find that for which we are searching. That for which we are searching. This teaching implies the definiteness of spiritual and mental work. God is intelligent, mind, and spirit, and there is a direct response from this universal intelligence to our intelligence. Remember, there's no separation. I'm quoting Holmes here. If we ask for bread, we shall not receive a stone. But we are told we must ask believing. If we are to receive, so here again, we are meeting the law of cause and effect in the teachings of Jesus. Prayer, this is Holmes, prayer should be direct and specific and should always be accompanied by a positive attitude. So believing that the thing already exists, that's the vibration that you would it helps you to really manifest and demonstrate what you want in your life by already thinking and knowing and feeling and having that vibration coming from the vision, as Mary Morrissey would say, coming from the vision of what you desire to experience in life, not trying to get to it, because then we're always trying to get to it. It's a pattern. So let's try something different and come from the vision, come from it. Ernest Holmes goes on to say, Jesus points to the fact that if we, being human and consequently limited, we're finite, know how to give good gifts to our children, how much more will God give good gifts to those who ask? And he explicitly tells us to ask directly for what we want. That's the power of affirmative prayer. That's the power of spiritual mind treatment, which is the same thing. It's so powerful because it's specific and it's prayed in the present tense, already knowing that what you're asking for is already present, because it is. It is. So let me ask you this. Has anyone ever been in any kind of relationship, and it could be at work or with friends, where you really wanted something, but you didn't ask outright? So you hemmed and you hawed and you dropped hints, you gave clues for what you wanted. Perhaps you even got upset when this other person didn't respond the way you expected them to. They didn't pick up on your obvious, oh so obvious hint. Anyone ever done that? Anyone know anyone that's done that? Then, finally, have you finally actually come right out and asked the person what you want? And they said, wow, sure, all you had to do was ask. Kind of like this, right, Dennis? There are several men sitting around in a locker room of a private club after exercising, and suddenly a cell phone goes off, and it rings on one of the benches. One of the men pick up the phone, and the following conversation ensues.
Yes. Hello?
Honey, it's me. Are you at the club?
Yes.
Great, I'm at the mall, 2 blocks away from where you are, and I just saw this beautiful, glorious mink coat that I really, absolutely would love to have. Can I buy it?
How much?
It's only $15,000.
Well, if you like it that much, go ahead and get it.
Okay. Oh, and I also stopped by the Mercedes dealership, and I saw the 2013 new models out on the showroom. Oh my gosh. And I saw one that I really, liked, and I know the salesman's going to give me a really good deal, and you were talking about trading in that old BMW. Well, it's only 2 years old, but you were talking about trading that BMW in that we bought 2 years ago anyway.
What price did he quote you?
Only $100,000. It's a good deal.
Well, okay, but for that price, I want it with all the options.
Great. Oh, good. But before we hang up, there's just something else that I have to ask you. And it might sound like a lot, but I stopped by the real estate agent this morning. And you know that house we looked at last year? It had the English gardens and the pool, and it was that beachfront property, and it had like acres of park-like setting on it. Well, guess what? They just reduced the price.
How much are they asking for it now?
Now they reduced it to $1.5 million.
Well, then go ahead and buy it.
Oh, okay, sweetie, thanks. I'll see you later. I love you.
Bye, you too.
The man hangs up the phone, closes the flap, and raises his hand while holding the phone up.
Does anybody know whose phone this is?
Might not happen exactly like that, but you kind of get the point. We must ask directly and specifically for the universe to say yes, as Patty said in the reading, for the universe to say yes, because that's what it's always saying. It's saying yes, always. So We have the power to co-create with this infinite intelligence. Hold on one second. I'm so excited by our story, I skipped the page. And here's the truth. This is the truth, that the universe, source energy, spirit, or any other name that you want to give this power, this energetic force of good, this universe is conspiring for our good. I say that all the time, but it feels good when I say it. The universe, what we are made out of, is conspiring for our good. And it can only get through if we're open and receptive. So here's a great statement for us all to say. So just say the statement after me. The universe is conspiring for my good.
The universe is conspiring for my good.
It is. And all you have to do is ask, believing that it's already done unto you. Believing that is already done. And we've heard that before, and many of us interpret that to mean that we might be imploring God with our prayer, but we're not. We're stating our good, and we're vibrating in that place of stating our good. And so today I want us to have a greater understanding about the process of asking. Quantum physics now, so exciting. I love quantum physics. I'm starting to learn about it. It's so exciting. But it's teaching us, it's proving to us actually what we've known all along. But when we give our attention to something, anything, it becomes our dominant focus. It becomes our dominant feeling focus. We set up an attracting vibration relative to what we are giving or our attention to. What are we giving our attention to? And that is what I mean by the word ask. We're giving our attention to what it is we want or don't want. We have the power to co-create, and that which we focus our attention on is what we create in our lives. And here's how it goes. This is kind of how it goes, and it might shift or alter the way you've been asking. So if you're not getting what you're asking for, let's try it a different way. And I've been using this all week, and it's very interesting to watch what we are thinking and feeling. Whoa, because what comes out of our mouth doesn't always necessarily correlate with what is inside of us, especially if we're going through change, something that looks a little challenging. We are constantly sending forth desires in life, whether we verbalize them or not. Every time we think, I like this, I don't like this, that feels good, that doesn't feel good. I'd rather this be happening. We're sending forth a desire. In the Abraham teachings, a rocket of desire, we're sending that forth. This is what I mean by asking. That vibration with which we're feeling, and you know it if you go within and tap within, you know what you're feeling. Your body, your nervous system is telling you what you are feeling. It helps you give birth to what you really want. What confuses most of us, however, is that we have not learned to be discriminating in what we are giving our attention to. When we see something we want and we say, yes, yes, more of that, what actually is happening by our, not by our saying yes to it, but our attention to it. So it's what we're focusing on. The focus, the full alignment of the thought and the feeling, the focus of it. That's the vibration that goes into the law and creates the desire, or sometimes not what you want. But the universe is always saying yes. Remember that. That's key. It's always saying yes. So when we see those things that we do not want, and we shout no at them, we're also setting up a strong vibration through our focus and attention again. We don't want the thing. We don't want it. We don't want it. But the law of attraction is going to work anyway, and since it always says yes, it's going to give you well, yes, in the universal mind, which is God's mind, yes means yes, and no means yes. So even what you don't want, if you're focusing on that, if that's your dominant focus, you're going to get what you don't want, because it's saying yes. This is what you're putting into the law of attraction, yes. So whatever you give your attention to means yes. And so what I mean today by asking is that vibration by which you are asking. Are you asking for what you want or what you don't want? Because remember, you're going to get yes, affirmative, to what you want and what you don't want. So really get clear on what you want. And it puts a whole new spin on you're asking for trouble. A whole new spin on it. But you just might get it. God's law receives the direct impress of our thoughts. It receives the direct impress of our thoughts, the mental equivalent, if you will, and our feelings, and acts upon them saying yes. Whatever is your vibration, whatever your continuing feeling or thought will be, you're going to manifest it in your life. So only you can do this. Only you can go within yourself and know what you're thinking, what you're feeling. Because that's asking. That's asking. Reconcile. Reconcile with the idea that the universe is conspiring for our good. So how can we not? How can we not ask for those experiences that we don't wish to have in our lives? There's a light way of saying no to things, and we're going to compare it to a buffet, a smorgasbord, okay? All different, buffets, we like the buffets, the buffet of life. So you get in line and you go up there and you have your plate, and I'll have some of that, I'll have some of this, and I'll have some of that. But have you ever at a buffet line gotten upset that the stuff you don't want is on your plate? Have you ever ranted and raved? I can't believe they had the nerve to put this out. This is just terrible. Come on, let's get out of this place. Of course not. Of course not. How ridiculous is that? Because you just accept that you don't have to put on your plate what you don't want. Okay? Most of us do get all bent out of shape over those little things that we don't want in life. And sometimes they're big things, but the universe, since it doesn't know big or little, we get bent out of shape. We put lots of attention on them. We talk about them to anyone that can listen. You know, I'm doing this roof thing in my house, and I couldn't wait to see my neighbor yesterday so I could say, oh, you know what? I think I have to get part of a new roof. You know, here I am doing this talk and then speaking with the neighbor because I couldn't wait to tell someone. Say, you know, that we do this, but we're creating when we're doing that. So I had to pull myself back in and say, no, you're going to have to rethink what you're saying. You're going to have to all is well. All is well. All is in divine right order. Everything is perfect. And so now I'm doing this. So we have to do this sometimes. We have to do this sometimes. Because we put our attention on it and we are creating it. We're attracting it. And if we shout no loud enough or push hard enough, this is what we think, we could keep those things out of our experience. Let me just say no. No, I don't want this in my experience. And we keep pushing at it. We're creating more of it. And that law of attraction, it can't do anything else but say yes. The harder you push against something, the more you vibrate in harmony with it. It's the very thing you don't want, but you're vibrating in perfect. Remember the whole vibrational scale? You're vibrating in harmony with what you don't want. When you come from the vision, which is up here, this is what I want: safety, protection, dryness, you know, from the elements. This is what I want. This is where I want to be. Not down here, focusing on the problem. Yeah, you take the actions, but it's up to us to discipline ourselves, which in the long run pays off because we use less energy. We use so much energy in talking about what we don't want. And then we create more of it, and so the pattern continues. So given our new direction of asking then, what are you asking for in your life right now? what do you really want? What I think most of us really want is to be happy. To be happy, to stay in that happiness, not go in and out of it, but to stay in a place of all is well. That's a great place to be. The universe, Spirit, God wants you also to be happy, because the nature of God is joy. It's joy. It's not punishment. It's joy. That is the nature of God. Jesus said, I have come that you might have life and have it more abundantly. This is your birthright. It's your birthright. Nobody told us. Your well-being is an integral part of your legacy. Well-being is natural to you. It might not be normal, but it's natural. It's who you truly are. It's who God is. And anything less than absolute well-being, which means anything less than passion, anything less than clarity, anything less than eagerness, anything less than exhilaration, anything less than perfect vitality, anything less than abundance and wholeness, any of those things, relative, anything less than that means only one thing. You've picked up a habit of thought that is not serving you. You've picked up a habit that you are holding now as your beliefs. And remember, it's uncovering the beliefs. Beliefs, healing our beliefs is the key to healing all of our problems and challenges in life. Beliefs, remember that. Uncovering those beliefs and knowing they're not the truth, and believing they're not the truth. There is only one truth, and that truth is that you are a divine creation of God itself. So what can we do then? What can we do? Because we're pinching off the flow of life. So we begin continuing our smorgasbord analogy. It's time we begin to use the power within us, because the whole month is about soul power. So using that power, asking by looking at what we really want and knowing that it's done before it actually is. And even before you take any action, it's already present, already there. Imagine the finished place of being there. Think about what you want in your life. And then you can do this at home, and then it's a great part of your spiritual practice. And then imagine what it feels like. We do this in Prosperity Plus class. Imagine what it feels like to come from the vision. Feel the joy. Feel the exhilaration. That's the natural way of being. You get excited about it. We imagine it. And we forget that imagination is so powerful. You know, as children, a lot of children are told, imagine, stop that daydreaming. Don't waste your time imagining, when that is a faculty of the highest realm and helps us create exactly what we want. So imagination is great. You're creating with it. You're creating. Do the mental work first, then take the inspired action. Because when you take an action to try to correct something that is wrong, all that action does is amplify what is wrong. Especially if you're proceeding out of that fear-based place. Oh my God, I gotta fix this. Oh my God, the whole house is falling down. Remember last week, my house was falling down. Oh, by the way, anyone that was here last week, the dripping in the walls when my house was falling down, I gave that thing. It's just aluminum siding contracting and expanding. There is no water in the walls. It was all in my mind. Do you see what we do? How insane are we? We are totally out of our minds. Truly. We are. Crazy. But I'm crazy. I'll take the death. I'm the only one that does anything. But you see, by changing our thinking, though, and becoming aware, and then laughing, have a little levity in there, laughing at it and knowing that this was all a made-up story. Everything is perfect. Everything is in divine right order. So, often I've spoken about knowing what and where to let go. To let go and let God. We have the idea of what we want, so we have the what, and we let the universe do the how. Remember? We don't outline. We know what we want, clearly know what we want. Let God figure out how it's going to come into our lives. That's the feeling. That's the feeling you want, that you have this manager in your life. You have the divine manager in your life. And you keep telling the manager what you want. Just keep vision this manager in your mind. And you keep telling this manager what you want. And the manager really is the law of attraction. It is this divine energy that's going to give us what we are thinking. Because every time you talk in harmony with it, you open your consciousness. And the universe can help you yield a little bit more of what it is that you want. And if you are inspired by any of these ideas, the Ask and It Is Given book by Esther Hicks is a great book about the law of attraction. Really great place to start. Any of their books are really great. So one more important element of asking, along with knowing what you want, and it is important to understand what your spirit needs at the same time. Okay? When stating your request, okay, you're requesting that you want a certain thing in your life from the universe, you must understand and honor the concept of integral need. Okay, you have an integral need within you. Look for a moment at the miracle, Jesus and the loaves and the fishes. The people in the crowd experienced a miraculous manifestation of food, but they were not present at that particular time for this miracle. That was not their intention of physical food. They were there for spiritual nourishment, if you remember. That's why they gathered, not physically fed. But they were there because they wanted the spiritual food. So during the natural course of their search, they got hungry. They became hungry. This was an integral part of a far more important purpose. And we are told, seek ye first the kingdom of God, then all things will be added to you. So listening to our physical needs as well, because we're human beings having the spiritual experience, and so there's an integral part of taking care of this physical form that serves us as well. So we take care of the form, we know what we want, we ask it clearly, we already vibrate that is done, that is already done. And so I have a mission for all of us, if you should so choose, in this coming week. And it's your approach to the smorgasbord of life. And if you see something that you don't like the Brussels sprouts on that table, which I always avoid. If my sister was here, she would love that. Just say, thank you, I'll pass. So any problem in your life that comes up, and is in your mind too, and your feeling state, because it's triggering something, thank you, I'll pass on that. Thank you, I'll pass on that. And focus, giving your attention, and speaking about only what you truly want to receive. That's the energetic vibration that attracts more and more good into your life, or the reverse. So, in concluding this, all you gotta do is ask clearly, vibrate clearly, and in asking, we activate the energy of creation. Remember, the universe conspires to bring you your good. That is truth, and that is truth spoken here, and so it is.
Bravo.